Good morning. This is Sara Sach with Posh Pooch Designs, and this is our live video chat. Rosie's over here bouncing around, and I've got Maximo and Rosie with me. This is one of our new patterns this week. It's going to be a free pattern on my blog. It's the adjustable dog harness. It slips over their neck, and then the underneath portion is attached with 2 D-rings, and that's one of our patterns we're going to have this week. Let me give them a cookie. This is Maximo's in beige. And Rosie, come here, girl. Come on. See, she's so crazy. She's wearing this beautiful cinnamon twist pattern. Now, this is a fun pattern because it comes in 4 sizes. And I thought I'd show you that first so that they could go and play. Oh, I didn't give her a cookie. I better give her a cookie. She said, I did a little modeling. I deserve a cookie. There you go, sweet girl. There you go, sweet boy. Well, we have so much fun stuff to talk about. Good morning, Elizabeth. Glad you're here. Have you got your coffee? Check out this new coffee cup I just picked up. I got it at the Dollar Tree. Isn't it cute? Well, I'm all decked out in my orange today. We have lots of fun stuff planned. Hi, sweetie. I'm glad you're here. But I want to talk to you and tell you a funny joke. Good morning, Trish. Okay, you ready for a joke? Since it's October, good morning, Michelle. Clink in. All right, are you ready for a crazy joke? Okay, I'm going to read it off my paper. What's the best Halloween costume for those of us who are crocheters? Put your answer in the comments. I'll tell you the answer later. It's really quite funny. Well, before we get into our conversation, I want to tell you about some new yarns that I just got. Check this out. This yarn is so thick that the Crochet Guild of America had to make an extra yarn category called a number 7. This is the Bernat Blanket Big. And I got a teal, a beige, and a cream. I'm going to try to do a little finger crochet, and I'll do that on YouTube blog. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, give me a second. Let me let the dogs out. I'm back. I just need to open the door. They go on, go play. They think if they're not getting attention that something's wrong. So anyway, this is going to be a finger crochet rug I'm going to make, or blanket. And I did a little reading on it. A lot of people don't really like this yarn. And so, hope they're delivering me some yarn. That's what the kids are barking at. I mean, the dogs. Anyway, it's fluffy. It's soft. And I'm going to see how it works. Now, I heard you can't wash it, but, you know, you could hand wash it on gentle and hang it out to dry if it got dirty. But anyway, I'm going to do some yarn finger crochet, and I'll do it on a blog. I'll do it on a blog, but I also do it on a YouTube, and we can kind of see together how it works. The other yarns I got this week is I'm working on a Bernat blanket. I'm doing a levy, and this yarn is so much fun. And so I got some pink, some purple, some twist, and no more cookies. No more cookies. Rosie's trying to get more cookies. So that's something else that I got. And then this other yarn that I got this week is called Strata from Red Heart. And I'm kind of excited to use it. I purchased these at Walmart. I got gray, teal, royal, and this kind of creamy color. And the reason I got them is because I was working on this pattern that I already wrote. It's just a V-stitch grocery bag. It's a nice size. Works great for a project bag or a book bag or something. And someone asked me, can we use a chunkier yarn for it? And I thought, well, that's a great idea, but it's going to be bigger. So we're going to write the pattern with an option for a number 5, because the Strata is a number 5. And of course, this is Red Heart Worsted Weight number 4. And so that's something I'm hoping to get done this week or the next. So that's another thing. And then the last thing, of course, is yesterday we did our boot cuff pattern. I updated the pattern. I even noticed there was a spelling error on my blog on the pattern. I'm like, I have to fix that now. And so we updated the pattern. We added the video yesterday. So that's something that you'll find. And of course, the dog harness adjustable. It comes in 4 sizes and it's adjustable because of the D-rings. All right. Anybody know the answer to the question? Lucy and Maggie are getting upset to hear the pups. They probably miss them because you know they're pup cousins. So anyway. Linda's talking about the story about the lady. All you have to do is go to Ravelry. Her patterns are all number 1 through 10 on Ravelry if you want to find them. I posted it over from the free crochet pattern group. If you're in the free crochet pattern group, it's over there pinned to the top as well. And what it is this sweet lady, she didn't really go into any details, but she feels like her health is failing and she wants her patterns out there and shared. So she made them all free. I think there might be 20, some cute little patterns if you want those. So yeah, that's a sad situation. You know what? I would probably do the same thing, and that's really brave of her. So we talked about some new yarns, and we talked about the new videos and patterns this week. And the question that we're going to talk about this week that I got, and I have a list. You would not believe the list of questions that I've been getting, and I love it. So if you have a question, just message it over on my Facebook page. You can add it to any of my live videos on YouTube. You can send me a personal message, or you can post it right there on my page, group or page. So far, I've been able to find most of them, I believe. The question this week, a lady was doing, actually the pattern that's right behind me. This is one of our new patterns. I called it Fall into Winter because it's a nice, it's a big, long, it's a scarf, but it's also a infinity scarf or cowl. Anyway, the beginning of the pattern, I have you begin with a foundation double crochet. And although I show you in the video how to do it, she was struggling with it a little bit, and she says, why do some of your patterns begin with the foundation double crochet, and some of them we are doing the traditional chain, turn, and 1 double crochet in each chain across? And so I thought I did a little video to demonstrate how to do both. It's about, I don't know, 6-minute video, and I'll post that on here so you have it. It's on YouTube, and it'll be on the blog as well. Your dogs are barking too. My dogs will bark at anything. The doorbell rings on the TV and they bark. That's just what they do. But anyway, so I thought I would, if you want to see a demonstration of how to do the foundation double crochet or how to chain and double crochet the traditional way, there is already a video out there. And I'll, of course, like I said, I'll hook it on here also. But I wanted to discuss about it because there's 2 reasons that, I mean, there's 2 reasons blah, blah, that I do that. Now, if you'll notice, this one is where I have done the foundation double crochet across. It's pinched up stitch there. And this one is chain as many as you need. Always plus 3 and subtract 1 because your first 3 counts as your first double crochet, and then double crochet in each chain across. And you'll notice they're pretty much the same size. And for the most part, they are interchangeable. I love all those hearts coming across. Thank you. Those are so much fun, and all the thumbs up. That is so cute. But for the most part, they are interchangeable. And on most patterns that say, for instance, this pattern back here, you're going to either chain 151 chains, or is it 150? I have to look at the pattern, but it's like 150. Or you can make 150 foundation double crochets. And the thing that I have found that when you're doing a pattern that has a band, or say a hat band, or a pattern where you want it to be nice and stretchy, the foundation double crochet is perfect. Say a poncho where you want to be able to slip it over your head and have a little give in it. A cowl, and like this scarf back here, for a nice stretchy band, the foundation double crochet works perfect. And the neat thing about the foundation double crochet, if you have to crochet a whole bunch of chains, it's really, really easy to count your stitches. This one, when is not near as stretchy, you've got and if you want something to have a little stretch, you have to chain a little bit loose. I am just loving seeing all those hearts. That's so much fun. So anyway, but the thing about this is if you have to chain a whole bunch of chains and keep track of all those numbers, it's a lot easier to do the foundation double crochet. Now, for the most part, you can interchange these. If a pattern says foundation double crochet 31, row 2, 1 double crochet in each double crochet, you can change that to chaining and then doing a double crochet in each stitch. Just remember, when you're doing the chaining, you're going to need to subtract 1 chain and then add 3. That's the way I think of it. You're really just adding 2 because your first 3 count as your first double crochet. Actually, it's on this side. The other thing is you'll notice, see how my strands, when I chained this way, then I turned and I stitched back this way, both of my strands are on the same end. And of course, it would continue up. When you're joining, you usually don't have that problem. When you're joining, when you do a foundation double crochet, if you're doing it just straight, it's not a problem. But when you're joining, something you'll notice is when you're joining on the foundation double crochet, you'll end up with this little slit in here off that first row, even though on the second row you may have joined and going around. And I realize this is really small, so it's hard to see that. But that's why it's important when you begin your foundation double crochet to start with about a 6 or 7 inch tail, because you can use this tail after if you're joining in a circle. Now, you're not always going to. The scarf behind me is not joined in a circle until after it's made and it's done by the buttons. But for instance, if I was making a wristband and I was joining and circling up or whatever, and then I had this slit, to put this on your needle and just stitch this in to join. And all of the patterns that I have where I've done a video, and I know we're going back and going through a lot of our videos, and so, a lot of our patterns, I have shown you how to join that in, I believe. It's really easy. You just put this on your needle and stitch it to the other side and just close that gap. And that's what's going to happen when you do the foundation double crochet. I've got one stitch in there that's a little bit kinked, don't I? But that's okay. I just used this J-hook and this chunky yarn just so that it would stitch big so that you could see it. I learned how to do the foundation double crochet a couple of years ago, and I saw it on a pattern I was just practicing on, and I thought, what is that? Well, I went and found a couple of different websites that were showing you how to do it, and I think it's just genius, because I don't want to chain a whole bunch of chains and then try to count and keep track. I want to count as I go. There we go. I picked the wrong one up. But this is the thing that you need to remember. When you're doing a pattern that you haven't written, that's somebody else's pattern, good morning, Carol. When you do a pattern, there was a fluff in the air, that's somebody else's. For instance, say I'm doing one of Totally Snappy or Snappy Tots patterns, and she says, okay, we're going to do 21 foundation double crochets for row 1. Don't just assume they're interchangeable. I mean, you can try it, of course, but it's always a good idea to go ahead and ask that designer, because there may be a reason that they're doing it that way. For instance, they want it to be a nice stretchy edge, where when you're doing the chaining, and the double crochet, you're not going to get as stretchy as an edge. One thing I always recommend when you are starting with a chained edge is use the next hook up size. For instance, if you're going to be stitching with an H hook, use your J hook to do your chain and then switch and use your H hook. And I recommend that because if you stitch your chain too tightly, you end up with it being a little bit puckered, especially if you're going to meet the two ends together, kind of like the scarf I did back here. You start on one end and maybe meet to the other end. Now this one is done up and down, so that really didn't apply, but if you're doing two ends and you want those two ends to meet, and you want to sew them together, if you chain too tightly, you're going to have a shorter edge and it's going to be puckered. So that's why I always recommend, if you're starting with a chained edge, whether it's single, double, triple, quadruple, or whatever, you know, depending on the hook size you're told to use, like I said, if it's an H, do the beginning chain with a J, and then it won't be so puckery. The main thing in crocheting, especially if you're giving them away as gifts, is you want it to be neat and tidy. That's why I always recommend sewing your ends in with a needle, not just using your crochet hook. It works a lot of times, and you can probably get it pretty neat, but if you're giving it to someone for a gift, you want it to stay attached, especially if they don't really know how to wash it. And also, another thing that is a great idea that someone said to me is when they give a gift, they take the label that came off the yarn, like for instance, this Strata yarn, they take that label and they stick it in there with it and say, you know, your washing instructions and care instructions are on this label. And it's a good idea if you're making a baby blanket or something for, you know, anyone who doesn't really crochet or knit or work with yarn much. It's a good idea to do that. I think that's a fantastic idea. So, front post, not front post, I keep saying that, I don't have any idea why. Foundation double crochet and chaining and double crochet the traditional way. Both are totally correct. Both are totally fine. It's up to you and the project that you're working on, which one you like better. And that's why I say, you know, some people don't really want to learn or do the foundation, and so they do the other way, and then they wonder why their project doesn't lay correctly. Sometimes it has to do with drape, stretch, and other things. And always, you know, most of the designers, crochet designers that I know, have no problem whatsoever with you shooting them a message and saying, can I change this for this? You know, but and of course a lot of times it is the same. So, you know, you can experiment, try it out yourself, or you can ask the designer. You can always ask me anything. And I always say, I love your questions. I do. Like I said, I have a whole list of questions that I'm going to go through. When I first started doing the live videos, I was worried that I wouldn't have enough questions and enough things to talk about. But I have a whole list of questions and things that I hadn't even thought about. And I think, oh, that's a really good question. Like today's question. Why do sometimes we use a foundation double crochet and sometimes we do the chain and double crochet the traditional way? And are they interchangeable? Very good question. So if you have any questions, feel free to message them to me or post them. I will do the very, hello, Gail from Las Vegas, huh? I bet there's going to be a lot of traffic there tomorrow. Probably a lot today with the debate going on over there tomorrow. But I have relatives who live in Pahrump. So, and my father-in-law lives in Las Vegas. So I haven't been in a while. Oh my goodness, it's probably been 15 years since I've been to Las Vegas. But anyway, back on the subject. Who knows the answer to our joke? I thought this was the greatest thing. All right, in case you didn't catch it, at the beginning of the video, the question is, what is the best Halloween costume for us crocheters? Got any ideas? Captain Hook! Arg, arg, arg! I wish I had an eye patch. That would have been fun. I am cracking up. You know what's so funny? I'll tell a joke or I'll do something silly and I expect you all to be able to laugh out loud. I wish that Facebook could do a live video chat where we could talk. So, I mean, I'm talking, but I mean, I love watching your back and forth, but I wish that you could laugh with me and talk with me. Well, eventually, I bet it will get there. Look at all those smiley faces. Oh, I just love it when that happens. That is one of the neatest things. And I will say the live video chats are so much fun. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I'm so glad you popped in and spent this few minutes with me. And I hope you'll practice your foundation double crochet. And like I said, there's a little video that I made yesterday to go along with this. I'll post that below this once it's put on Facebook. And I also always do, you know, a blog post and shoot it over to YouTube. So run over there, like me on YouTube, like a bunch of my videos. And what's the name of the scarf behind you? Oh, that is the Fall into Winter scarf. It is a scarf cowl. It's made with let's see, it's Hometown USA and Burnett Chunky. They're both number 6s, I believe. And that's a free pattern also on my blog. And I did the video on Friday, I believe, or Thursday. I can't remember. But there's a video for it out there also. So, yeah, it's one of our new ones. The big deal right now are all these great big scarves. They're calling them super scarves. I've always loved huge scarves. So, I always end up being in style before everybody else. I used to say I loved granny squares before they were popular, so, and I still love them. They're one of my favorite things to make. Well, I'm going to let you go. I'm so glad you were here with me today. Stay crafty, my friends, and have a great Tuesday.